Hey there, so you did a great job on the brochure. You give pertinent information that is the type of information a patient would want to know. You give it in small, like chunks, which is great because people don't want to read a book. They want to get the little bit of information that they need to know. So you give them that, and you do it in a clear manner that is nice throughout the document. So really well done. Good headings, good use of information below, well laid out, clean, clear, and organized. In this video, I just want to give you a couple of design tips. So I'm here on page 2, and let's talk about 2 or 3 things on this page. So first is the difference in the font sizes across. I can see that you were going for filling the space, which is fine. That's a good goal to have. But when you have inconsistent font sizes, well, let me put it this way. If you were to cut up this piece of paper, if you were to print it out and cut it into 3 columns and scatter them in the hallway, if someone were to pick up those 3 separate pieces of paper, they should think to themselves, oh, these belong together. They should look like they belong together. So you can do that in a number of ways. One of the ways that you do it on page 1, you do this very well because you do have consistent sort of font or design choices across the columns, but then you also stick with this kind of blue color scheme from column to column with the highlight, the accent color being green. So I would like you to continue to do that on page 2. Consider using, for example, this image in the lower middle. Try to either recolor it or find an image that uses blue as its main, green as its accent color. And then for the box here as well, consider adjusting it so that it's the blue main color and green is the accent color. And then the woman at the upper left does have, it's mostly white, but blue is also very prominent there when we look at the image overall, just as its color effect. So that one ties in well. Okay, so that's point number 1, is getting the columns to look alike. Do that through the use of color and do that through the use of font sizes. So you have the consistent font type, but when the font sizes change so dramatically, then they don't look like they belong together anymore. So try to find a happy medium there. And how can you do that when you have different content, you have different blocks of text to fit? Consider trying to make this block more concise. You can use more concise language here to shorten this up, and or consider with this block of text adding a little bit more information so that you can reduce the font size to fill the space. Okay, and then here you just have one. We seem to have extra spaces there, so fix that layout problem there. Okay, now in the column, the third thing then on this page is the column on this right hand side doesn't exactly line up with the box below it. So I want you to align all of this together, make sure that they're the same width, and then they're, oh, I see, you have them aligned to the right. How about this then? What I'm going to recommend is that you make them the same width so that they look, because they look a little off kilter. So make them the same width, and then they'll look like they belong together there. We don't notice the right alignment of the box because the text doesn't right align, and that's why that's not obvious. Okay, let's go on up to page 1. So as I mentioned, overall, a really great submission here. I'm just giving you a few little pointers. On page 1, I'm going to zoom in. I don't know if you meant to do this, but I have this text in the middle column. In these 4 different blocks here, and I'm not sure what their purpose is or what their intent was. So I would recommend that you delete them and maybe replace that. I don't know what you got going on there. So oh, sorry, and these ones, no, these up at the top stay, right? Because those are the links that you want us to reference as resources. So it's the ones near the bottom. So fix that for me. And then the images here on page 1, I'm going to zoom back a little bit here. So just by looking at them, a viewer can tell that they've been stretched to fill the, well, I'm assuming to fill the space, that you've stretched them out to fill the space. And so they don't look unnatural, but they don't really look super natural. I mean, they don't look just natural. So what are other things that we can do to fill that space? I'm going to start with Dr. Case here on the left and our lovely patient who gave us this terrific testimonial. Excellent, excellent idea. I love your use of that. So I'm going to go to the Format tab, and I'm going to click the size, our little caret button there, our little, looks like a carrot growing in the ground. Unlock the aspect ratio, and then I'm going to change the height of this, and I'm going to go down to about 3.5, I think is sort of a nice number for it to look more natural. Go ahead and click OK to that. So they have, and we could go down further, but it gets more to that natural look that we have. Okay, and then to fill the space, what we can do is we can use a picture. You can use lots of picture effects. These are really terrific. But a nice one that works well because you're trying to fill space top to bottom is the reflection. So play around with the different reflections and see how they could help you sort of fill that space. And do you see how I could even make this picture even a little bit smaller because it is still going into my text box. So I can play around with that, not squishing it too much, right? We don't want to stretch it out and we don't want to squish it too much. We want that happy little medium where it looks natural, but that I've filled the space as I want to. Now with the woman, you can decide, right? We can tell she's stretched out, but this is an interesting one because it's a picture where we want to emphasize her back, right? Oh, the osteoporosis in the back. So you could play with that one and see what seems best to you. Again, really great job. I love the brochure. Just wanted to offer some tips. Let me know if you have any questions at all.